Good morning. Chris McCabe, head men's basketball coach, Liberty North. Seems like a while since we've been here with all the weather and everything that's going on. So just to catch you guys up, weather not only delayed our press conference last week, but our Tuesday game versus Oak Park. And so that put us playing Thursday at home against Staley, and an originally rescheduled game from early January. We played well that night, which was good for us. We needed that. Won 66-48, 18 points margin of victory, largest we've ever had in school history. We played well. Like I told our guys after the game, I thought it was very business-like. I thought we just took care of business. Played well enough to win, and played well enough to win by the margin. Last night we played at home against Oak Park from the game that we missed on Tuesday, and lost by 3. 43-40. Well, there's a million different things watching the tape and going back watching it that you wish you could flip, but you guys have heard it, and I've said it time and time again, and I've told our guys time and time again, but it's hard to win. It's really hard to win. And I think our guys are learning it, but like I told them after the game, I want them to realize that this has to be, as frustrating as it is now and as disappointed as we were in them at that point. We got 2 weeks left to get these learning experiences out of the way, because if we're having this conversation, if we're this frustrated in 3 weeks, we're talking about what time our equipment check-in is, not what time we're practicing. So some of the stuff that we didn't do very well last night is stuff that we've practiced. Stuff that we didn't practice well the night before, and it cost us. So as a coach, you can imagine that's pretty frustrating, pretty aggravating, but hopefully going forward that has the attention of the team and they understand why we do things the way we do them. So, a wise man said, never get too high, never get too low, and we certainly do believe that, and we tell our guys that. I don't know if we were as good as plus 18 against Staley, and I don't think we're as bad as losing a close one to Oak Park. So we got some exciting times coming up. We hope we're playing well towards the end of the year. We've gone out and scouted some district opponents, teams that aren't common on our schedule: Grain Valley, Elk Grove, Van Horn, Odessa, and Excelsior Springs is who makes up our district. So obviously it's a little different level than what we've seen during the year, playing in a conference with Class 5 schools and some non-cons with Class 5. So we'll see. Guys are great. They work hard. We're just trying to keep this thing going so we can get some momentum as we go into districts. So with that, open it up to questions. Tell me.
Do you feel like going into district playoffs and facing a little bit smaller schools, but facing that bigger competition earlier on in the year is going to pay off?
I think it's a great question and a great point as far as our Class 4 districts playing Class 5 competition during the year. Yeah, I think it will, but I'm not the one that decides that. The players are. So, our players are very smart, which is one of the greatest strengths of our team, and it's also one of the greatest weaknesses of our team, because they're so smart and cerebral. They think through everything all the time instead of just playing. So I would guess that they're probably very cognizant of the fact that the level of competition is not what we had seen at times during our year. That being said, they're varsity teams too, and that's something our guys have to understand. You joke all the time about, and some of the high levels, they say, well, he's on scholarship too, and that's the case. They're on varsity too, and they're on varsity for a reason. So they're good, but yeah, if you put them on our schedule during the year, do they stack up to the upper echelon teams that have been on our schedule? I don't know, and hopefully the battles have prepared us for the ultimate war that we'll go into once we get to districts. Bruce.
What do you do in practice to get those young players ready for district play?
What do we do in practice to get the young players for district? Everything. Hopefully we do nothing from this point forward that really surprises our young players, getting them ready for districts. We've tried to get them ready for districts, for conference, for non-conference, for the state Final Four. Whatever we've been doing since November 8th is in preparation for getting better every day and making it so that there's not many surprises. You know, I think the close games we've played in, I think the battles that we've gone through as far as just learning things on the fly during games have helped us. And then when you come back into practice and you're able to fine tune it and show them on tape, this is why we tell you, you got to cut this way. This is why we force the ball baseline, because if you don't, this happens. They're learning that. But like I said, our players are smart. They understand districts. They understand district play. So, you know, we'll talk to them about it, and but they'll handle themselves well. They have all year. So I don't know if there's anything magical or specific that we do to prepare for districts. I'd like to think our preparation as a whole is good enough. Yeah.
At this point in the season, do you think your guys learn more from practices or games?
At this point in the season, we're learning more from practices or games. Well, it's a really good question. I don't know. I think a little bit of both. Last night, neither. That's frustrating. We were practicing on Sunday, and we were practicing game situations. Game's close. This is what you do in this situation, et cetera, et cetera. And we had that exact situation come up Monday night in our game. On practice on Sunday, we didn't handle our situation. We missed it. We had a player that didn't do his assignment. The opponents capitalized in practice. We lost the situation in practice. We had the exact same situation come up last night. Same player who missed it in practice, missed it in the game. So I think that they learn equally. But I think because it's games, because it's win or lose, because there's people in the stands and there's officials on the floor, I think that you can tell them and tell them and tell them at practice, but sometimes a game might just kind of be the one that pushes it over the top. So I think it's a great question, and I would lean towards games, but it'd be pretty close.
You guys have played a lot of close games. A lot of those you guys have felt kind of short in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like at some point after those start to stack up, you guys start to turn the corner at this point in the year? Or does it get demoralizing at times? Or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, question about playing in all the close games and how it affects us. I mean, when you're around a program that is established and that is in close games that's won before, that team, that program expects to win. When you're around a team or a program that hasn't won a lot before, or is going through rough times, they don't expect to win. And we're in the situation where we're kind of in the middle because we're new. And it's a real fine line of playing in these close games, understanding that experience and all the maturity and all these things add up to making it successful. But you have to get the result done. So is it demoralizing? Yeah, it can be, but it can't. One loss can't turn into two losses, can't turn into three.